So, ladies and gentlemen, I found one of the biggest questions that was actually asked to Jerry Jones, which was found in video proof back in 2012 about his status as being GM of the team and where the Cowboys were at that point in time. It has to be one of the all-time questions asked in the 21st century to the Dallas Cowboys owner and what he's been doing. And it still really resonates today, regardless of who you think runs the team at this juncture. I wanted to review exactly what was said, why I call it an all-time quote, and ultimately what we had to do from here, and I guess talk about why Dallas media doesn't really engage in these conversations because of this. So with all that out of the way, let's dive straight into it. Now, before we begin today's video, if you guys could do me a solid favor and hit the like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. Also, subscribe if you're new. Hit the notification bell as well. The average continues to drop. We're now at 83%. Let's keep pushing that average down. So if you are not subscribed and are part of that percentile, please consider subscribing for more Dallas Cowboys content down the road. So there was an interview that was done in 2012 where Tim MacMahon asks Jerry Jones about where he stands at the current GM position. I'm going to show you the clip, and then we're going to further discuss, because this, again, has to be an amazing question that, by the way, hasn't been asked since this actually happened. I had to go back, edit the video, and double check, because I think that no one was asking him that, and that hasn't happened in this entire stretch of time. So the follow-up question you're going to see from this clip, oh my God, Jerry's reaction, you're going to love it, especially with how he tries to get around it. So let's watch it, and then we're going to further dive straight in.
Jerry, another thing you said on NBC before the game that raised a lot of eyebrows was if there was a GM who'd been in this role for the last 15 years, you would have fired him.
Yeah, but he doesn't own the team.
Okay, so
I'm just saying, what I really meant was that one of the things you do is if you've got a GM that, in this particular case, owns the team, you go in and work on the mirror. And I don't know if that came out on the interview. We talked about it quite a bit.
But at what point do you look in the mirror and say, am I the right man to continue being GM of this team, or would your team be better with another GM in here?
Yeah, when I bought the team, the night I bought it, I said I would be doing what I'm doing, and that's GM the team, make the final decision on all personnel. That's the way it's always been done. We won 3 Super Bowls doing that, and so I'm going to do it again.
You've also won 1 playoff game in 15 years, so what makes you believe it's still in this team's best interest?
I think that I know how our organization runs, and I know the best way to make decisions and for us, and that's the best way. And I know that's what motivates me as an owner and causes me to basically do the best job that I can.
First off, shout out to Tim MacMahon and asking that question and follow-up. Just absolutely perfect. You just saw Jerry smirk go down because I don't think he was expecting that question whatsoever. Now, I did put this out on Twitter, and with that, a lot of people were like, did Tim MacMahon lose his job? Now, that was a rumor. He said no. He responded to the tweet. I'm going to just take him at his word. I'm not going to say that he's lying about that. Absolutely not. But this is exactly why, ladies and gentlemen, we have serious issues with this organization. Jerry Jones says, oh, I know what I'm doing. I won 3 Super Bowls doing what I'm doing. But then, hey, well, you said that if someone was in the same position as you, you would have fired him. And you're saying, well, I, can say that because, oh, well, he owns the team and da-da-da-da-da. And then when you get told, hey, well, you have 1 playoff win, at the time, 1 playoff win in 15 years, that was again in 2012, wouldn't you think that GM would be fired? Oh, well, I know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. And I can relate to why certain media members don't ask these questions, because you're not going to get a direct answer. Now, of course, it puts more pressure on the Joneses to answer this, because the fan base has started to get more and more and more frustrated as time has gone on, understandably so, as the title drought grows. And this is one of the biggest things, is that Jerry is not the spry older young guy that he was, when he bought the Cowboys. The dude's 80 years old. He isn't thinking straight. And that just happens when people get older, guys. I mean, it happened with Al Davis. It's happened with other owners that have gotten older. And unfortunately, it seems like that's where the Cowboys are at. They are the NFC Raiders, where they are more successful in terms of putting together teams that aren't complete shit, but they still don't get where they want to go. Now, there are fans that will buy into what Jerry's selling and what his son's doing and what Will McClay is trying to assist with, but we have to reasonably look at this. Even if you were to split up where things are going. So let's just say Jerry Jones fired himself after the 2012 season. So in that span of time, 3 Super Bowls. Then after the 3 Super Bowls, you only had 1 playoff win in that span of time. And let's say Steven is now the GM. Since Steven's tenure, we have had a playoff win in 2014, 2018, and 2022. And the biggest thing is that we have not had any success outside of that. All of the wins you had, none of them were consecutive, as I mentioned. And you would think, okay, you have 3 playoff wins. You've gone through 2 head coaches. You've gone through 2 quarterbacks, yet your philosophy remains the same. So my question to Jerry is, okay, are we going to do anything different? Because clearly, if you want to go through Jerry versus Steven, if Steven is the GM, he would have been fired years ago. Probably. And even if you want to give him the 10 years, like the Jason Garrett 10-year type of thing, he would have been gone. Like, it would have been like, hey, we're not extending your contract and this, that, and the third. So going back to, again, what Jerry Jones is trying to sell every single year. Jerry Jones's charisma, if you want to call it that, is the only thing that's really keeping the Cowboys interesting. Once Jerry's gone, Steven doesn't have the same charisma as his dad. So he's going to have a hard time trying to sell what he's doing. And honestly, it's going to be worse because with Jerry, you have that overriding factor being like, all right, we're going to get this deal done. With Steven, no one wants to work with him. In fact, if you've been following how we do things on Twitter and stuff, we've talked about how he's referred to as Tommy Boy amongst the other NFL teams. We can't do any deals with the Jets because Steven and, the ownership group there and also the GM there, that bridge is burnt, so no business with the Jets. You're not seeing any business done with other teams unless it's like they're willing to overpay. Like, listen, can we please get this done? That's where I think the Cowboys are screwed. The Cowboys are going to end up being the New York Knicks of the NFL, but I've said that they are already. They're going to be a team that's going to be run by a child of the previous owner that's a petulant, just dictator, basically, and does not want to do... Now, I don't think it's going to be as bad as James Dolan's tenure with the Knicks, which... Fuck James Dolan, by the way. I'm not a Knicks fan, but I sympathize because James Dolan's a piece of shit. Steven's going to run the team the same way, and we're going to be just like Knick fans, just like sitting and waiting and all this other stuff, hoping to God that something can change. So that's where it's at, guys. I mean, thank you so much, Tim MacMahon. I understand that you've done other ventures, and I appreciate you responding and giving us more information on that. But this is also, like, listen... You aren't going to get a straight answer out of Jerry Jones or Steven Jones. So I understand why people don't ask these tough questions and then they lose access based off of what, people on 105.3 The Fan have said. Oh, we don't ask Jerry the tough questions because we would lose access and he's not going to give us a straight answer. I get it. Like, I'm not denying that that's a good point there. But, I would be very interested to see like everybody go at the Joneses and then just them shut off access. Listen, if we're gonna do that, let's just do it. I want to see, but Jerry can't get away from the spotlight. He wants to talk to the media and all this other stuff, so I doubt that he'll find new people. But with that being said, guys, I wanted to bring this to your attention, and I do hope that you guys enjoyed this. Again, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the notification bell as well, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, guys. This is Space Cowboy Media signing out. Goodbye.